The rain was falling softly that afternoon, making the streets of the small town look quiet and empty. The sky was covered with gray clouds, and only a few people walked past the corner shop where Mr. Ahmed worked. His shop was simple, with wooden shelves full of bread, milk, rice, and a few sweets for children. Mr. Ahmed sat behind the counter, reading a newspaper, when the door slowly opened with a little bell sound. He looked up and saw a small girl standing there. Her clothes were neat but old, her shoes had little scratches, and her hair was tied in a messy ponytail. She held a few coins tightly in her hand and looked around the shop with curious eyes. "Hello," Mr. Ahmed said in a calm and gentle voice. "How can I help you, little one?" The girl walked slowly to the counter. She was maybe 7 years old. Her face was pale from the cold, but her eyes were full of determination. She placed the coins on the counter and looked straight at him. "I want to buy a daddy," she said firmly. Mr. Ahmed blinked in surprise. He thought he had heard wrong. "What did you say?" he asked, leaning a little closer. The girl nodded. "I want to buy a daddy. Do you sell one?" For a moment, Mr. Ahmed did not know how to reply. He looked at her innocent face, her tiny hands gripping the edge of the counter. His heart felt a strange pull. Something about her words touched a deep part of his soul. He smiled kindly. "My dear, we do not sell daddies here. We sell food and small things for the house. Why do you want to buy a daddy?" The girl's lips pressed together, and her eyes became a little shiny, but she did not cry. She spoke in a quiet voice. "Because I don't have one. My mother works all the time. I get scared when it is dark. Other children have daddies who pick them from school or hold their hands in the park. I want one too. I have some money. Can you give me one?" Mr. Ahmed's heart felt heavy. He had seen many things in his life. He had wealth that people in this small town could not even imagine, but this little girl's request felt different. It was not about toys, sweets, or clothes. It was about love, care, and something money could not simply buy. He gently pushed the coins back to her. "Keep your money. Daddies cannot be bought like bread or milk," he said softly. "Where is your mother now?" "She is working in the laundry shop. She comes home late," the girl replied. "I come here to buy bread sometimes." "What is your name?" Mr. Ahmed asked. "Lena," she said. "That is a beautiful name," he said with a warm smile. "And how old are you, Lena?" 7, she answered. The rain outside grew a little heavier, and Mr. Ahmed looked at the clock. "It is getting cold. Would you like some tea or something warm to drink?" Lena shook her head shyly. "No, thank you. I just wanted to ask if I could get a daddy here." Mr. Ahmed chuckled softly, trying not to make her feel embarrassed. "Sometimes, what we want most in life is not something we can buy. But sometimes, we can find it in people around us." Lena tilted her head. "What do you mean?" "It means," he said thoughtfully, "that family is not always made by money. It is made by care and kindness." She listened quietly, her small fingers tracing the edge of the counter. There was something in her eyes, hope mixed with sadness. Mr. Ahmed stood up and walked to a shelf. He picked a small packet of sweets and placed it in a paper bag along with the bread she usually bought. "Here," he said, handing it to her. "This is a gift for a brave little girl who speaks her heart." Lena's face brightened for a moment. "Really? I don't have to pay?" "No, you don't," he said kindly. "But you must promise me something." "What?" "You must smile more often." "Smiles are free, and they make people around you happy," he said. Lena nodded, holding the bag close to her chest. "Thank you, mister." As she stepped outside, the rain slowed down, and a thin light broke through the clouds. Mr. Ahmed watched her walk down the street, her small figure disappearing slowly into the distance. He sat back behind the counter, but his mind was no longer on the newspaper. The words of the little girl echoed in his ears, "I want to buy a daddy." For many years, he had lived a life full of business success. People in the town only saw him as a simple shop owner, but behind that small store was a man with great wealth and a lonely heart. That night, as he closed the shop and counted the day's earnings, he could not stop thinking about Lena. Her innocent request had opened a door in his heart that had been closed for a long time. He wondered about her mother, about their life, and about how a little girl had come to believe she could buy something as precious as a father. The rain outside stopped completely, leaving the streets shiny and wet. Mr. Ahmed locked the door and walked home, but his thoughts stayed behind with a girl who wanted something no money in the world could truly buy. The next morning, Mr. Ahmed unlocked his shop as the sun rose slowly behind the hills. The rain from the night before had washed the streets clean, and the air smelled fresh. He arranged the bread and milk on the shelves, but his mind was still on the little girl from yesterday, Lena. All night, he had thought about her words, "I want to buy a daddy." They kept echoing in his heart like a soft song he could not forget. He had seen many children come and go in his store, but there was something different about her. Her eyes were full of longing, and her words carried a kind of pain that only a lonely heart could know. Few people in the town knew the real story of Mr. Ahmed. To them, he was just a quiet shop owner who lived a simple life. But far away in the city, his name was well known among businessmen. He owned several companies, real estate, and even a small chain of supermarkets. Money was never his problem. What he lacked was something deeper: family. Years ago, he had built his wealth with hard work, but as the years passed, he found himself surrounded by empty houses, busy meetings, and people who wanted his money more than his friendship. That was why he left the city and started a small shop here. He wanted peace. He wanted to live close to real people, not just numbers and deals. As the day went on, customers came and left. Some bought fruits, some asked for tea. But every time the little bell on the door rang, his eyes looked up, hoping it would be Lena again. She did not come that morning. Later that afternoon, an old friend named Rashid entered the shop. Rashid had lived in the town for many years and knew almost everyone. Mr. Ahmed poured him a cup of tea. "Do you know a little girl named Lena?" he asked casually. Rashid nodded. "Yes, I know her. She is the daughter of Sarah, the woman who works at the laundry shop. Life has been hard for them. Her father passed away when she was very young. Sarah works day and night to take care of her." Mr. Ahmed listened quietly, his fingers tapping on the wooden counter. "Does anyone help them?" he asked. "Not much," Rashid replied with a sigh. "Sarah is proud. She does not like to ask for help. But everyone can see she is struggling." After Rashid left, Mr. Ahmed leaned back in his chair. He felt a strange ache in his chest. He remembered his own childhood. His parents had left this world too soon, and he had grown up under the care of relatives who were kind but always busy. He knew the emptiness of waiting for someone who would never come. That evening, he closed the shop a little earlier than usual. He walked through the narrow streets until he saw the small laundry shop. Its lights were still on, and inside he could see Sarah folding clothes while Lena sat on a stool, swinging her feet. He did not go inside. He just stood there for a moment, watching them through the glass window. Sarah looked tired but gentle, her hands moving quickly over the clothes. Lena was drawing something on a piece of paper with an old pencil. Mr. Ahmed turned and walked back to his home. He did not want to scare them or make them feel awkward. But he made a quiet decision that night he would help them in whatever way he could. Not because he felt pity, but because something about that little girl's voice had woken up a part of him he thought was gone. He started to plan. The next day, he called a supplier and asked for a few extra bags of rice and milk for the shop. He also asked Rashid to deliver some groceries to Sarah's house but told him not to mention his name. The days passed, and Lena started coming to the shop more often. She bought small things: bread, sugar, sometimes tea. Every time, Mr. Ahmed gave her a little extra, a sweet or a fruit, saying it was part of a special offer. She would smile shyly and thank him, her small hands clutching the paper bag. One evening, when the shop was empty, Lena stayed a little longer. She looked at the shelves, then at Mr. Ahmed. "Why are you always so kind to me?" she asked. Mr. Ahmed smiled softly. "Because kindness is free, Lena. And because I like to see you happy." She tilted her head. "Do you have children?" His smile faded a little. "No, I do not." "Why not?" she asked innocently. He paused for a moment, then said, "Sometimes, life gives us many things but forgets to give us what we want most." Lena looked at him with thoughtful eyes. "I think you would be a nice daddy," she whispered. Her words struck him again, just like the first day. He did not know what to say. He only nodded and handed her a loaf of fresh bread. That night, as he closed the shop and turned off the lights, he felt something change in his heart. It was small, like a seed planted deep in the soil, but it was there. A desire not just to help, but to belong somewhere. The morning sun was gentle as it painted the small town with a soft golden light. Birds chirped near the rooftops, and a cool breeze moved the curtains of Mr. Ahmed's shop window. It was another normal day for the people outside, but for Mr. Ahmed, something felt different. He stood behind the counter, arranging a new stack of bread. His thoughts were full of the little girl, Lena. Since that day she spoke about buying a daddy, her face had stayed in his mind. Her innocent words had opened a quiet space in his heart, a space that felt warm yet heavy with responsibility. Around mid-morning, the doorbell jingled, and there she was again. Lena stepped inside, holding a small cloth bag. Her cheeks were a little red from the morning air. "Good morning, Lena," Mr. Ahmed greeted with a smile. "Good morning, mister," she replied softly. "What brings you here today?" he asked, pretending to be busy with the bread. She placed a few coins on the counter. "Mama asked me to buy some milk and a loaf of bread," she said. Mr. Ahmed nodded, packed the items, and slipped in a small packet of biscuits without saying anything. When Lena noticed it, she looked up. "I didn't ask for this," she said politely. "It's a gift," he said. "Sometimes, gifts come without asking." She hesitated for a moment, then smiled and whispered, "Thank you." As she turned to leave, Mr. Ahmed gently asked, "Lena, do you like going to school?" "Yes, I do," she said, her eyes lighting up. "But sometimes Mama can't buy all the books. I share with my friend." Her words made Mr. Ahmed's chest tighten. He thought about all the wealth he had hidden behind this simple life. Books, shoes, food, these were small things for him, but for her, they were big wishes. After she left, he decided to take the first step. That evening, he called Rashid again and asked him to find out what things Lena needed for school. He also prepared a small package of groceries: milk, rice, oil, and some fresh vegetables. "Don't tell them it's from me," Mr. Ahmed said. "Just say it is from a shop promotion." Rashid looked at him curiously but nodded. "You have a kind heart, my friend," he said. The next day, Lena returned to the shop, her steps lighter than before. "Mama said thank you for the groceries," she said with a shy smile. She said it helped her a lot. Mr. Ahmed acted surprised. "Oh, did she receive them? That's good. We like to take care of our regular customers." Lena giggled a little. "Mama said it was kind of you. She wants to meet you someday." Mr. Ahmed's heart warmed. "Tell her she is always welcome." Over the next few weeks, their small conversations grew. Lena would tell him about her school, her favorite subject, and how she liked to draw during free time. Mr. Ahmed listened carefully, asking gentle questions, always making her feel that her words mattered. One rainy afternoon, Lena came in again, holding her school bag close. "Mister, may I sit here for a while? Mama is late from work today," she said. "Of course," Mr. Ahmed said, pulling a chair near the counter. He made her a warm cup of milk and gave her a pencil and paper to draw. She started drawing a small house with 3 people in it. One was her mother, one was her, and the third was a tall man with a kind face. "Who is that?" Mr. Ahmed asked, pointing at the tall man in the drawing. She looked at him with innocent eyes. "That's the daddy I want to have someday," she whispered. Mr. Ahmed felt his throat tighten. He smiled gently. "He looks very kind. I hope he will be," she said softly. The clock ticked slowly as the rain tapped on the windows. Mr. Ahmed found himself thinking about his own empty house, the big dining table that was always set for one, the rooms that had never heard a child's laughter. Later that evening, Sarah came rushing into the shop, her apron still damp from the laundry steam. "I'm so sorry if Lena bothered you," she said politely. "She was no bother at all," Mr. Ahmed replied warmly. "She is a wonderful girl." Sarah smiled, her face showing both tiredness and gratitude. "Thank you for always being kind to her." After they left, the shop felt quiet again, but not empty. Mr. Ahmed felt something had changed. His acts of kindness had started small with biscuits, a few groceries, but they were building something bigger. That night, he sat by his window and watched the street lights glow faintly. For many years, he had lived like a man hiding his heart behind numbers and wealth. But now, a small girl with honest eyes was teaching him what real value meant. He thought of her words again, "I want to buy a daddy." And for the first time, he wondered if perhaps what she truly wanted was not a daddy for sale, but someone who would choose to care without being asked. The days passed quietly in the small town, and the bond between Mr. Ahmed and Lena grew stronger, though it was still soft and unspoken. Every time she stepped into the shop, the place felt brighter, as if her small footsteps carried a kind of innocent warmth with them. One sunny afternoon, Mr. Ahmed arranged fresh vegetables on the wooden shelf while thinking about Lena and her mother, Sarah. He had been helping them quietly for a few weeks, sending groceries, offering small gifts, making sure they never left the shop empty-handed. But he wanted to do more, not just to give, but to make their lives a little easier. As he was thinking, Rashid entered the shop. "Ahmed, your heart is too soft," Rashid said with a smile. "People have started talking. They say you are always helping that woman and her child." Mr. Ahmed looked up and smiled gently. "Let them talk. Sometimes, doing the right thing is more important than what people say." Rashid chuckled. "True. But you must be careful. Sarah is proud. She does not like charity." "I know," Mr. Ahmed replied. "That is why we will not call it charity. We will call it support." That evening, when the shop was almost empty, Lena came in with her usual bright eyes. "Mister, Mama said thank you for the milk and the rice last time," she said. "I'm glad she liked them," Mr. Ahmed said kindly. "And how is school?" "It's good," Lena replied. "But the teacher said we will have a small competition next month. We need paints and colors for drawing. I don't have them yet." Mr. Ahmed nodded slowly. "Would you like me to help you get them?" Her eyes widened. "Really? But Mama says we should not take too much from others." He smiled. "Sometimes, people share because they care, not because they expect something back. Tell your mother I will give you the colors as a shop gift for all children who study well." Lena hesitated, then smiled shyly. "Thank you, mister." The next day, Mr. Ahmed sent Rashid again with a small box containing colors, pencils, and a few notebooks. Sarah was surprised when she received them. "Why is he doing this?" she asked Rashid. "He says it is a shop promotion for children," Rashid replied with a grin, keeping Mr. Ahmed's secret. Sarah shook her head slightly but felt a sense of relief. Her work at the laundry shop paid little, and every extra cost was a burden she silently carried. Over the next few days, Sarah began to notice the change in Lena. Her daughter laughed more, spoke more, and often told stories about the shopkeeper who always smiled and listened. One evening, Sarah decided to visit the shop herself. She finished work a little earlier than usual and walked in, her hands still smelling of fresh soap from the laundry. "Good evening, Mr. Ahmed," she greeted politely. "Good evening, Sarah," he replied with a warm smile. "How was work?" "Tiring as always," she said honestly. "But I wanted to thank you for helping Lena. The colors made her so happy. She has been drawing all day." "It is my pleasure," Mr. Ahmed said gently. "Children deserve small joys." Sarah looked at him for a moment. "People in this town have many words," she said slowly. "But I want you to know that your kindness does not go unnoticed. Still, I want to repay you someday." "There is nothing to repay," Mr. Ahmed said with a soft chuckle. "Kindness is like a candle, it does not become smaller when it lights another." Sarah smiled faintly. "You speak with a good heart, Mr. Ahmed." As days turned into weeks, Lena began spending more time at the shop after school. Sometimes she would help arrange the sweets, sometimes she would sit by the counter and draw. Mr. Ahmed started teaching her small things: how to measure rice, how to count money, how to wrap a loaf of bread neatly. The townspeople began to notice this small bond. Some smiled, some whispered, but no one truly understood the story behind it. For Mr. Ahmed, it was not about gossip or attention, it was about filling a quiet space in his heart that had been empty for too long. One afternoon, a group of children entered the shop to buy candies. They laughed and played around the shelves, but Lena stayed near the counter, carefully counting her coins. "Why don't you go play with them?" Mr. Ahmed asked gently. "They are my friends," Lena said, "but I like being here too. It feels safe." Mr. Ahmed's eyes softened. "Then this shop will always be a safe place for you," he said. Later that night, as he closed the shop, Mr. Ahmed thought about the days passing by. He had built big buildings, signed big deals, and handled large amounts of money, but none of those things had given him this quiet peace. Lena's innocent presence had turned his small shop into something warmer than any grand office he had owned before. And though he had not said it out loud, he had already decided he would not let that little girl or her mother face their struggles alone anymore. The weather had turned mild as spring slowly touched the small town. Flowers began to appear near the sidewalks, and children played outside after school. In the middle of this quiet change, the small shop of Mr. Ahmed continued to be a familiar place for many, especially for a little girl named Lena. Every afternoon, Lena would stop by, sometimes to buy bread or milk, sometimes just to sit and talk. Her presence had become part of the shop's routine, a bright little moment in Mr. Ahmed's day. One afternoon, while Lena sat near the counter drawing with her new colors, a few townspeople came in to buy tea and biscuits. They began to talk quietly while waiting for their change. "Did you know Mr. Ahmed owns big businesses in the city?" one man whispered. "Yes, I heard that too," another woman said. "He is very rich, but he lives so simply here." Lena's hand paused over her drawing. Her ears caught every word. She looked at Mr. Ahmed, who was calmly packing their items, smiling as usual. When the customers left, she looked at him curiously. "Mister, is that true?" Mr. Ahmed looked up. "Is what true, Lena?" "That you are very rich," she said softly. Mr. Ahmed chuckled gently. "People talk many things, little one. But why do you ask?" Because, you never told me, she said. I thought you were just a shopkeeper. He leaned against the counter, his eyes kind. Sometimes, people choose to live a simple life even if they have more. What matters is not how much we have, but how we use it. Lena tilted her head, thinking about his words. So, you could buy many things if you wanted. Yes, he said honestly. But money cannot buy everything. It cannot buy time, kindness, or true happiness. She looked down at her drawing again. I wanted to buy a daddy, but you said daddies cannot be bought. Mr. Ahmed nodded slowly. That is true. A father is not something you buy. It is someone who cares for you without asking for anything in return. Lena gave a small smile. You sound like one, she whispered. Her words stayed with him long after she left that evening. He closed the shop and walked home slowly, his thoughts heavy yet strangely warm. For many years, he had lived between numbers and contracts, but now his heart was being moved by the simple trust of a child. The next morning, he visited the laundry shop where Sarah worked. She was folding clothes when he arrived. Good morning, Sarah, he said kindly. I hope I am not disturbing you. Not at all, she replied, wiping her hands. What brings you here? I wanted to ask if Lena has everything she needs for her school competition, he said. I heard she is very excited about it. Sarah smiled, a little surprised. She is excited, yes. Thanks to you, she has colors and paper now. You have been very kind, Mr. Ahmed. But I also worry. I do not want her to expect too much from anyone. Mr. Ahmed nodded with respect. You are a strong mother. I only want to make sure she does not feel alone. Sarah looked at him for a moment. People say many things about you, she said slowly. They say you are a man of means. Is that true? Mr. Ahmed smiled faintly. I have worked hard in my life, yes. But here, I prefer to live simply. This shop reminds me of the days when life was slower, and people still had time to talk. Sarah nodded. Then thank you, not for what you give, but for the way you care. That is something rare. That evening, when Lena came to the shop again, she brought her drawing. It showed a small shop, a smiling woman, a little girl, and a man standing beside them. This is us, she said proudly. I showed it to my teacher. She said it looks like a family. Mr. Ahmed looked at the drawing carefully. It is a beautiful picture, Lena, he said gently. And families are not always made of the same blood. Sometimes, they are made of care. Lena's eyes sparkled. Then maybe I already have one, she said, her voice soft but full of hope. That night, Mr. Ahmed sat near his window again, looking at the quiet street. For many years, he had hidden behind the walls of wealth, thinking that keeping his heart closed would keep him safe. But now, a child's trust was teaching him something he had forgotten, that life was not only about what we earn, but also about the people we choose to stand beside. He wondered how far this path would go. He did not know yet, but one thing was clear, Lena and her mother had become more than customers to him. They had become a reason to open his heart again. The days turned warmer as spring quietly gave way to early summer. The little shop, with its wooden shelves and glass jars, became a place not just for buying bread and milk, but also for quiet conversations and small moments that touched the heart. Lena now came almost every day, not always to buy something, but sometimes just to sit by the counter. Mr. Ahmed welcomed her with a warm smile each time. The shop that once felt silent now carried the soft sound of a child's laughter. One Saturday morning, Mr. Ahmed was sweeping the front door when he saw Lena walking down the street with her school bag. Good morning, Lena, he called out. No school today. She shook her head, her hair bouncing slightly. No school, mister. It's the weekend. Mama said I can draw at home, but she has extra work today. Would you like to help me in the shop for a while? He asked. Her face lit up. Really? Can I? Of course, he said, holding the door open for her. You can help me arrange the fruits. Lena carefully placed apples and oranges on the shelf while Mr. Ahmed arranged the bread. You know, he said with a small smile, you have become my little helper. Lena giggled. Then you should give me a name tag, she said playfully. Maybe I will, he replied. But helpers must also learn to count the money. So, for the next hour, he showed her how to count change and how to wrap a loaf neatly. She listened carefully, her eyes full of focus. Later, as they sat with 2 cups of warm milk, she asked, Mister, do you get lonely in this shop? Mr. Ahmed paused for a moment. Sometimes, he said honestly. Shops are busy in the day, but nights can be very quiet. Lena looked at him with her innocent eyes. Do you ever wish you had a family? He smiled faintly. Yes, I do. Everyone wishes for people who wait for them at home. She thought for a moment, then whispered, I think Mama also wishes for that. She is always tired, but she never says much. Her words stayed with him. That afternoon, when Sarah came to pick her up, Mr. Ahmed spoke kindly. Sarah, Lena has been helping me today. She is a bright child. Sarah smiled warmly. She likes being here. Thank you for letting her. It is no trouble, Mr. Ahmed said. Children should be surrounded by good company. From that day, weekends became a little different. Sometimes, Mr. Ahmed would close the shop early and invite Sarah and Lena to the nearby park. They would sit under a tree, share simple snacks, and watch other families play. Lena would run with a kite while Mr. Ahmed and Sarah spoke about small things: the weather, her work, the growing needs of the town. One such afternoon, as the sun was setting, Lena came running back to them, her cheeks flushed with joy. Look! My kite flew the highest. Mr. Ahmed clapped gently. You are becoming a champion, he said. Sarah smiled as she watched them. She had been careful at first, unsure why a man like Mr. Ahmed would take interest in her daughter's happiness. But with time, she saw his kindness was real and without hidden reasons. One evening, as they walked home from the park, Sarah said softly, Mr. Ahmed, you have done more for us than I can explain. I was afraid to accept help before, but now I see it is not about money. It is about the heart behind it. He nodded quietly. We all need someone to look out for us sometimes, Sarah. Life is lighter when we do not carry it alone. Lena skipped ahead of them, holding a small flower she had picked from the grass. Mama! Mister! Look, it's for both of you, she said, handing it to them. That moment was simple, but it felt like something gentle was growing between them, not spoken, not forced, just quietly forming like roots under the soil. At the shop, their routine became a part of the town's rhythm. Customers often smiled when they saw Lena arranging sweets or Sarah bringing warm tea on busy days. Some whispered that the shop had started to feel like a home again, though no one said it too loudly. One late evening, as Mr. Ahmed closed the shop, Lena asked, Mister, do you think people can choose their family? He looked at her thoughtfully. Sometimes, yes. Family is not always the people we are born to. Sometimes, it is the people who care for us, who stay when life is hard. She nodded, her little hand swinging by her side. Then maybe I already chose mine, she said, smiling up at him. He looked down at her, his heart heavy yet warm. For many years, he had walked through life surrounded by success but far from belonging. Now, with each small moment, a bond was forming, a bond that did not need promises or wealth, only kindness and time. The sun rose softly over the small town, filling the streets with warm golden light. Birds chirped in the trees, and the air smelled faintly of fresh bread from the shop. Today felt different, though not because of the weather. There was a quiet excitement that lingered in the air, a feeling that something important was about to happen. Lena ran down the street, holding her school bag tightly. Her mother, Sarah, followed slowly, still tired from the laundry work. When they reached Mr. Ahmed's shop, the little bell above the door jingled brightly. Mr. Ahmed was already inside, arranging the fresh vegetables and bread for the morning. "Good morning, Lena." "Good morning, Sarah," he greeted them warmly. "Good morning, Mr. Ahmed," Lena replied, her eyes sparkling. "I have something to show you." She held up a small drawing she had made the night before. It showed the three of them together, Lena, her mother, and a tall man with kind eyes and a warm smile standing beside them. Beneath it, she had written in small letters, "Family is chosen by the heart." Mr. Ahmed's chest tightened. He smiled, feeling emotions that he had not felt in years. "This is beautiful, Lena," he said softly. "You have a very kind heart." Sarah looked at the drawing, her eyes misty. "Lena, this is wonderful." "You are very thoughtful," she said, squeezing her daughter's shoulder gently. Lena stepped closer to Mr. Ahmed. "Mister, I wanted to tell you. I don't need to buy a daddy anymore," she said softly but firmly. "I already found one." Mr. Ahmed knelt down to her level, his voice gentle. "Lena, you really mean that?" "Yes," she said with a bright smile. "You take care of me, you teach me, you make me happy. That is what a daddy is. I don't need to buy one because I already have you." He felt tears in his eyes but blinked quickly to hold them back. "Lena, you have a very brave heart. I promise I will always be here for you and your mother." Sarah stepped forward, her voice full of gratitude. "Mr. Ahmed, thank you for everything. Not just for helping us, but for being here, for showing Lena kindness and care. You have made a difference we cannot forget." He shook his head gently. "I didn't do this for thanks. I did it because it felt right. And because seeing Lena happy, it makes me happy too." For a long moment, the three of them stood together in the warm morning light. Outside, the town slowly awakened, unaware of the quiet miracle that had just taken place inside the small shop. Over the next few days, the bond between them became even stronger. Lena no longer hesitated to talk about her thoughts or her school. She laughed freely in the shop, played with the small toys, and helped arrange the bread and fruits. Mr. Ahmed, in turn, guided her gently, teaching small lessons about counting, measuring, and caring for others. Sarah began to relax more. She no longer felt the constant weight of loneliness or the worry that she was failing to provide for Lena. She realized that family was more than blood, it was love, presence, and care, and Mr. Ahmed had given both freely. One weekend, they went to the nearby park together. Lena ran around, flying a kite, while Mr. Ahmed and Sarah watched. "Look how high it flies!" Lena shouted, her voice full of joy. "You are doing an excellent job, Lena," Mr. Ahmed said. "Keep holding it steady." Sarah smiled as she watched the two of them. The sight of a little girl and a man, so naturally connected, brought a sense of peace she had not felt in years. As the sun began to set, they walked back to the shop. The streets glowed with the soft light of evening, and the town felt peaceful. Lena held Mr. Ahmed's hand, small but trusting. "Thank you, mister, for everything," she whispered. He looked down at her, a gentle smile on his face. "You are the one who taught me to care again, Lena. Thank you for trusting me." That night, after closing the shop, Mr. Ahmed sat by his window. He watched the quiet streets, now full of soft lights and distant laughter. For years, he had lived surrounded by wealth but alone. Now, a little girl and her mother had brought life and warmth back into his world. He thought about Lena's words, I don't need to buy a daddy anymore. I already found one. They were simple words, but they carried the truth of what he had always wanted: a real connection, a family chosen by love rather than circumstance. The days that followed were full of small, quiet joys. Mr. Ahmed, Lena, and Sarah shared meals, laughter, and simple routines. The shop remained a place of business, but it was also a home in its own way. Customers noticed the change too. The shop felt warmer, happier, filled with the laughter of a little girl and the soft kindness of a man who had finally found his heart again. And in the quiet moments, when the town was still and the stars shone above, Mr. Ahmed knew that he had found something far more valuable than any amount of money. He had found a family, chosen not by fate, but by the heart. Lena curled up with a drawing she had made that night. She smiled, thinking of the man who had become her daddy, not because he was told to, not because he had to, but because he chose to care. And as she drifted to sleep, the little house in her drawing seemed more real than ever, full of warmth, love, and the promise of countless happy mornings to come.